Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to episode 6, I think, of Rachel's Reading Rambles. Oh my god, today has been the gloomiest, most stressful day at work. I am literally sat here in my JLS hoodie. I've got a hot water bottle going on, cover kindly gifted and knitted by my grandma, so it means a lot. So yeah, just here with really cozy Rachel Reading Rambles, and today we are kind of just discussing where my life is at the minute because I feel like I'm in a little bit of a crossroads. So let's just get into it because I want to kind of discuss the future of my channel today regarding the new year. I want to discuss my November reading plans because we are over halfway through November almost as you're seeing this video, and I have yet to finish a book. It might change by the time you're uploading this, but I am recording this on the 12th of November and I have yet to finish a book because I've hit a massive slump. And I also want to discuss the Christmas books I would like to read this year because I kind of failed at Christmas reading last year, and at the minute I am really into festive Christmas reads, and that's kind of all I want to do because last Christmas, because of lockdown in the UK, it just kind of put a whole dampener on the whole experience. So I just want to kind of like really embrace the Christmas spirit this year and just kind of properly get into it and enjoy it for as long as possible. So I started, obviously, I always listen to Christmas music in November, but I feel like I've really immersed myself in the Christmas spirit this year, beginning of November. I just wish I kind of lived by myself so I could put up a Christmas tree and like really get into it. But Christmas music, Christmas films and festive reading is the way I'm going at the minute to get myself into that spirit. So I want to discuss some of the books I would like to read this year that are like new releases, that are Christmas reads that I really want to get around to. So that's just kind of, I don't know really where to start, and that's kind of why I love Rachel's Reading Rambles. As you may know, if you've watched more of these in the past, I have a whole playlist if you'd like to watch them. I'll link them up above and down below, but I do really love doing these series. So November kind of really hasn't been great for me. I did hit a massive reading slump due to the fact that I read 12 books in the month of October because I hosted the magical hobathon. I feel like everyone that watches me like constantly knows of the readathon that I hosted in October, and it was so much fun, but boy was I feeling burnt out at the end. And therefore in November I was like, I'll just take a few days off reading, it's absolutely fine, I'm still want to read. And then the days went by and the days went by and I hadn't read anything. And then one day this week, because I'm filming it on a Friday, I was like, oh my god, I want to read a Christmas book. So I looked on iBooks and I saw one going for 99p called Baby It's Cold Outside by Emily Bell. And I'm 150-ish pages into it. I've been reading it across the last couple of days and it's perfect for what I want right now. It's a really easy read, it's really quick to get through, and it's just the perfect amount of Christmas to read in November, but also still get you into that Christmas spirit. So basically follows our main character, Nora, forgotten her name then, who used to have this romantic fling with a boy called Andrew back when they went travelling in Europe with a group of friends and they met in Verona. But she hasn't seen each other in 10 years. But before they left, they said, in 10 years, if we still aren't seeing each other, then we'll come back together. We'll meet at Dublin on Christmas Eve at 9 p.m. And she gets on with her life for the next 10 years. She becomes a teacher and all this sort of stuff. And that Christmas comes around in 2019 and she's like, oh my god, I could go and try and meet Andrew, maybe he'll turn up, because she's still single. So it's all about her kind of getting to Dublin and all that sort of stuff. So it's Christmassy in the fact that it's set around December, but it's not like a full-on Christmas story, and I think it's like the perfect balance, and I am really enjoying it. So that's what I'm currently reading. And that also means that I have decided to completely scrap my November TBR because there was no point continuing my reading slump because I wasn't interested in reading any of the books that I set myself to read. At the end of the day, reading is meant to be fun. Reading is meant to be a joyous thing. And yes, Booktube has kind of made this community of where we have to set TBRs and we have to stick to them, but we don't. Normal people who read aren't part of Booktube don't set TBRs most of the time. Yeah, they have they've compiled a list of books they want to read in a year or that month, but they're not like strict on like sticking to it, or they just read whatever they fancy in a time span that they fancy. There's no like, oh my god, I haven't started a new book yet and I've read this same book for like 5 days, oh my god, I'm doing something wrong. I just feel like, yes, the Booktube is such a wonderful community, but there is such an unprecedented amount of pressure to read in a certain way, and I was like, what's the point in staring at my November TBR, not feeling inspired by them, and putting off my reading slump, like continuing my reading slump for the sake of not reading books I meant to read and not feeling any of them. So I was like, scrap this. I scrapped my entire TBR. I do kind of feel bad because I really wanted to support Chloe in her LDR-a-thon, which is happening the week that you're watching this. It's coming out on Sunday, hopefully. So it'll be the last day of that. And I really wanted to read a lot for that readathon. But having just come out of my own readathon, I felt like I was in a slump, and none of the books I set myself out to read for that readathon were tickling my fancy. And I love Chloe to pieces. I think she's amazing. If you don't know who I'm talking about, I'll leave her channel up above and down below for you guys. And I just wanted to support her. She's one of my Booktube besties. I went to go stay up with her a couple of months ago, and I just felt really bad for not partaking in the readathon. But at the end of the day, it doesn't take away from how much I support her and how much I love her and her channel, just because I wasn't able to partake in the readathon because I was hitting a slump. So I decided to relieve the pressure, not partake in LDR-a-thon or the Believe-a-thon, which I was originally planning on partaking if you saw my November TBR video, and just kind of read what I was fancying. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I am not a mood reader. I do not tend to mood read. I'm very much a like, let's create a TBR and I will stick to it. But just something came over me. It happened last November as well, so maybe it's just a changing of the season. I couldn't stick to my TBR this month, and that's absolutely fine. Go with the waves. No. Go with the flow and just see where life takes you. And I'm really enjoying Christmas reads. So that's kind of the update. My TBR is now completely clear, apart from the book that I'm currently reading, which is Baby It's Cold Outside by Emily Bell. And I'm really enjoying it. I kind of hope to have finished this book by the end of this week, which is today. But once again, the pressure to read books in a certain time span, it's not good for mental health sometimes, and it's not good to feel that pressure because reading is meant to be fun. So I'm like, why the hell do I feel like I need to have finished this book in 2 to 3 days? Like, it's fine if it takes a week to read this book. It doesn't matter. You're still enjoying your book. Just because you want to binge the entirety of Below Deck before you read, that's absolutely fine. And tangent, I'm absolutely obsessed with a Netflix show. It's brought on Bravo, but I definitely watched it back in the day when it was first aired, when I was in college. Before I left for college, I would go downstairs and watch Below Deck. It's a reality TV show where you follow a crew who work on a yacht across a charter season, and it's absolutely brilliant. There's so much drama involved, and if you're looking for just something that you don't really need to think about, Below Deck is brilliant. And if you have watched it and you know what I'm talking about, let me know what you think down below. Who's your favourite person? What's your favourite season? I absolutely love Ben the chef, if you have any idea what I'm talking about, but I highly recommend Below Deck. And at the minute, the last couple of days, I just wanted to binge the entirety of Below Deck and not read. And although I'm coming out of my slump and I do want to read and I am enjoying the book that I'm reading, Below Deck is also really appealing to me right now. And I'm just going with the flow, and that is absolutely fine. So that's where we're up to kind of with my November reading plans and kind of how I'm feeling regarding reading at the minute. I do want to set a TBR for December, but I'm kind of going to focus again on Christmas books and just kind of see what I fancy. So my December TBR may be slightly different to kind of what you're seeing. I might not even pull any prompts out and just kind of show you guys what books I'm kind of interested in reading, but we'll see how the rest of November goes. I could have a complete 180 and fall in love with reading all over again and smash out my TBR. Who knows? But currently, as I'm sat down on the 12th of November, reading isn't going well, but I'm enjoying what I am reading at a slower pace. So let's just go with it. So the Christmas books I'm actually looking forward to reading this year. I did a little bit of research and looking into some books because like I did say, I did wake up one morning and just want to read Christmas books. So I did a little bit of Googling, see what was out there, went on Goodreads, see what people are reading, what kind of was like the festive reads of 2021. And I compiled about 4 that I really want to read this year. So I'm just going to like talk you through them in case you haven't heard of them and you might be interested in some Christmas romances, because yes, they are romances. Because if you know me, I love contemporary and romances, but if you're on this channel, you should know that by now. So the first one that I'm interested in is The Holiday Switch by Marcelo, and this one basically follows our main character Leela, who is working in a like cozy Christmassy inn for winter break, I believe, like during the winter season. And when her boss's nephew comes to also help out his family business, they accidentally switch phones and then drama ensues. I'm not really sure how that plot's going to turn out, because how can you misplace your phone and switch it? Like, I get that all phones look the same these days, they all make the same sounds, but you all personalize it with your own background. So surely if you picked up the exact same phone as me, you would click like the button to like light it up and see that that background isn't yours. So I'm interested in this story, and I want to see how the author kind of plays out the switcheroo of phones, and see kind of how realistic that is. Because for me, you can't really switch up phones these days. You'll have your own phone case on it. I just don't get it, but I'm interested in it. It sounds like a fun kind of comedy sort of romance, and I'm a sucker for romances and I'm a sucker for Christmas. So anything that kind of hits those two boxes, I'm going to be interested in reading. It may not work out the way I want it, but it sounds like a good fun read anyway. So that's kind of the first one I'm interested in. The next one is, I think, a YA, and it's called I'm Dreaming of a What Christmas. And it basically follows our main character who babysits whenever, and she has this one babysitting family that she really adores. They really adore her, and they invite her out to ski for the season and kind of babysit the kids while the parents are doing off other things. And it basically follows her when the family's eldest son decides to come along, and there's an interesting fling happening on ski slopes in winter in a cozy Christmas cabin. This one sounds right up my alley. It is a YA, I believe, so kind of as I'm getting out of YA these days, it's a little bit hit or miss with me, but it sounds fun. I just think I have a lot more kind of, what's it called? I have a lot lower standard when it comes to Christmas books. They can be the tackiest Christmas books because I just love Christmas. But I have a lot of hope for these books, but at the end of the day, I think I'll still enjoy them just because they're Christmas. Who doesn't love Christmas at the end of the day? So Christmas festive books, when you combine two of your favourite things, you're gonna have a good time no matter how cheesy the writing is. So this one sounds a lot of fun as well. And that one was by Tiffany Schmidt. The next one I'm interested in is Window Shopping by Tessa Bayliss. I was familiar with the author. She wrote It Once Happened in Summer or something. People have really enjoyed Tessa Bayliss' other book, but I'm not a massive fan of summer related books. It sounds weird, but like seasonal books aren't massively my cup of tea, but apart from when it comes to Christmas. So I haven't read Tessa Bayliss' other book, but now I know that she has a Christmas book coming out. I'm really interested in reading it. And this one is basically about a woman who is walking past a department store, and they have all their Christmas windows up, and she stops and stares, and a fellow handsome man comes across and they start talking, and she ends up getting a job at this department store. But she doesn't realise that the guy that she was talking to and that hired her was actually the owner of the entire place, and a romance ensues around a Christmas department store. So that sounds fun too. It reminds me of Home Alone in Lost in New York when they go to the department store. He kind of helps out. I love that scene. It's so festive with like the two turtle doves. Oh, it's so cute. So a Christmas department store story. It sounds absolutely excellent. And then the last Christmas book that I'm also interested in is another familiar author, and that is Jenny Bayliss's new Christmas book. She wrote the 12 Dates of Christmas. I have it here. I have yet to read it. I think that came out last year, but her new one is called A Winter of Chances, or A Season of Chances. It's basically about our main character who owns a restaurant. She's been in a 26-year-long marriage, but when that kind of comes to an end and she gets the divorce, she kind of feels a little bit lost, and she ends up going down to the coast and kind of house sitting a seaside Christmas house thing in the winter time. And this one heavily reminds me of The Beach Cafe by Lucy Diamond that I read a couple of months ago and fell in love with, because it's about like a same sort of middle-aged main character who's kind of a little bit stuck at a crossroads when it comes to like life and where life is taking them at like a weird time of life for them when they think they should be settled down, and they kind of use an escape to the seaside to use that as like a healing process. So they're kind of quite similar in plot lines, just one set at summer and one set at Christmas. So I'm really excited to read this. I didn't read this book last summer. I didn't read this book last Christmas because I started it on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas festivities kind of started and I never got to complete it, but I got about 50 pages in. I do want to read it this Christmas, so another one to add to my Christmas TBR. And then also, while I'm mentioning physical books I have on my TBR at Christmas, Tom Fletcher's brand new Christmasaurus book, the Christmasaurus and the Naughty List, is also out and I have it on my bookshelves. I just can't bother to get it. So I have about 6 or 7 Christmassy books I would like to read this year. But I'm excited for all of them. I hope I can get a few physical copies on the way. I'm hoping to do a Christmassy book shopping with me again, which I did last year. If you'd like to see the Christmassy books I brought last year, I'll leave that video cards above and also down below for you guys, because We can't get enough Christmas on this channel. I fucking love Christmas. And talking of Christmas, Christmas also leads on to the new year. And I just want to discuss kind of one thing regarding my channel into the new year, and that is I'm putting a hold on my book club. So if you didn't know, I do host a book club called Books&Me. I love it. I have loved hosting it for the last couple of months. I've loved hosting it from the beginning when I hosted it from the beginning in July. And I think it's a great way to read books that you might not kind of read otherwise. But for me, every single month I would read the book, but I would never be that excited for the live show. I always want to produce things that I'm really proud of with this channel. I don't want anything that I'm not proud of to kind of come out onto this channel. And unfortunately the live shows are just never something that I'm like really enthusiastic about. And I think it's time for me to take a step back from Books&Me for a little bit, refigure things out, whether that is for it to become bi-monthly so we have a bit longer to read books, or kind of, I don't know, I just need to like re-brainstorm the idea. I would love to bring it back. I hope to bring it back. But from the beginning of 2022, Books&Me kind of won't be happening for the first couple of months while I wrap my head around kind of the new direction I want to take it in. It's not going away permanently. I will be bringing it back. I just need to take a little bit of a refresher. And I think because I had all of the rest of 2021 planned out, I had all my guests, I had most of my books planned out. I don't want to let any of my guests down. I don't want to let you on the Discord or on my channel down. So obviously we'll be completing out the year and finishing my last book in December, which is, if you didn't know, will be Wild Beauty, and the host will be Molly from Mind of Molly. I can't wait to have them on my channel and discuss that book. It's quite an obscure book to have. One thing that I did want to kind of really introduce into my book club is that the co-host helped pick the books, whereas when I first launched this, I got so excited about the books I wanted to read that I kind of picked the host kind of off, this is the book I want to read, would you like to read it with me? Or kind of books that I knew they would enjoy. So that's why I got M for the non-fiction memoir month, which is why I got Jonathan from Be Black and Loved to do We're Not Broken. So I kind of picked out the books and I kind of directed the host to which book I think they would enjoy the most. Whereas this time around when I relaunch it, I want the co-host to help pick. And I started that in December, and I allowed Molly to kind of choose between a few books, see what they were interested in and see which book they would want to read. And Wild Beauty kind of won when we discussed it. So if you would like to partake in Wilder Beauty, I'll put the cover up on the screen, then feel free. It's very different for the book club, but I think it's all a bit of fun and games at this point. And if you would like to join in, obviously it's free. If you don't, you don't have to either. So that's kind of where I'm heading in the new year with my channel. Obviously nothing else is changing. I'm just taking a step back from my book club to just kind of rethink, redirect, and kind of see where I'd like to take it to make myself enthusiastic about it again. So that being said, those are all the bookish things I would like to discuss in today's kind of video. If you didn't realise, I am of course wearing a JLS hoodie, and that is because I did see them in concert for the first time in like 9 years last Friday. A week today I saw them, so a week today I would have been getting ready for my meet and greet. I did meet them. I'll put some pictures and videos up on the screen because that day was one of the best days of my life, and people might be like, what the hell, you saw a boy band in concert? And yeah, I did, but that boy band got me through a hell of a lot of shit when I was younger, and they broke up, and it was one of the most like heart-wrenching things. I can go into more depth, but I would just be rambling for no unapparent reason. But I used to date someone who didn't love the fact that I was this obsessed with a boy band, and it kind of got in the way of my love of that boy band. The boyfriend had kind of really dampened that experience for me, so when they split up I wasn't that affected. But the minute they announced their reunion last February in 2020, all these fangirling emotions came back.
What's happening?
JLS are going on tour!
You're not happy then?
No, I'm really disappointed.
Shit, I think I should tell them to cancel. Tell them to cancel. We're going on tour!
And I realised that what a dick move that ex-boyfriend made, and just kind of made me realise that this boy band did get me through a hell of a lot of shit with health and growing up and all that sort of stuff. So having them back, they're more than just a boy band to me. And a lot of people back in the day thought, oh, it's just a phase. That phase hasn't gone anywhere. Like, as soon as those boys got back together, or should I say men now, because they're all dads and they're all getting old, and Marvin had to wear a knee support for tour rehearsals because he's getting old. Yeah, they mean a hell of a lot to me, and seeing them back on stage again after 9 years was an absolutely incredible experience. I got to meet them and they remembered me. I met them with a children's charity called Raise the Sunshine, and it's a very intimate one-to-one experience with each member individually. It's a bit like speed dating. You got 15 minutes with each member at a table, you sat down with them, and it was a proper intimate experience. And people always say to me, of course they're going to remember you, but you always have that doubt in your mind that they're not. And it's such a special, incredible feeling when you walk up to them and they're like, oh my god, we've met you before. And it's just like, out of everyone you've met over the years, how the hell do you remember me? I was 13 back then and I'm now 24. So the fact that they like still remember me, like I'm getting emotional. Like it was such an incredible experience. I just wanted to let you guys know kind of how it went, because I know a lot of you guys were very excited for me on my behalf. Alice obviously tweeted being like, happy JLS day to Rachel on behalf of all of you. And it was just so special to get to see them in concert again, get to meet them. Aston sang You're Beautiful to me in a song called Better For You. And back then, Better For You came out in 2012 on their second studio album, and back then it was just like a party bop. It was like such a good song, and re-listening to it now when I'm 24, holy moly does it have a lot of meaning. I'm going to read out some lyrics because they are just like ridiculous at how much I connect to them now on a deeper level than just like, oh, this is a really good song. So this is Aston's first verse, and it goes, what will it take? When will you see the tears that you're hiding show underneath? It's easy to tell, I know you well, you're not fooling me. Because the moment that you're feeling up, he brings you down. When everybody knows you're not so happy now, but you're beautiful, I'd show you if you let me. Like, that was my boyfriend. Every time JLS brought me up, he teared me down to the absolute rock bottom. And the fact that Aston recognised me in the crowd, also JB recognised me at a different point as well. The fact that Aston recognised me in the crowd and sang from this song, You're Beautiful, just like, I'm gone. So I'm going to put that video in as well because I caught it on video and it's like one of the best things in my entire life. So yeah, that was a little personal update. I just wanted to share with you kind of the JLS day because obviously it was one of the best experiences and you guys were along for the ride. You all got excited with me on my live streams and stuff rocking up to the day. So I just wanted to kind of tell you guys kind of how it went. And with that being said, I think I'm going to call it here for Rachel's Reading Rambles. I really hope you enjoyed this one and you're looking forward to 2022 content, what I'm going to get up to reading wise. I hope I gave you some good Christmassy book recommendations. Hopefully I will let you know how the books actually turn out and what I think of them once I've read them, but that's kind of like my Christmas TBR kind of sorted. I don't know what else I'm going to read, but those are kind of the books I'm going to take priority on. And without further ado, I will leave you to it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a massive thumbs up. Subscribe down below to see future content from me. I do anything from weird, rambly, Rachel's Reading Rambles, fun TBR videos. I hope I will be coming back with like seasonal TBR games. And anything else your bookish heart could desire, I probably have it on this channel, so make sure you subscribe so you never miss a future upload. And without further ado, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.